Hi, all. Very good evening. Yeah, thank you so much for joining this session. So this is our seventh session, and thanks for your huge response and support for all the sessions. So today the session is like with ROC and the support monitoring. So today we have our speaker as Tanamani. So so I would quickly introduce herself. Dana is having overall 20 years of experience in the IT industry, and she is heading the head of RPA team in DXC Technologies, Chennai. So I'm privileged and overwhelmed to have her as the speaker today. So me and my team, Sharath Raju and Sumant and Excel Cult, are privileged to have you as a speaker for today's session. Thank you so much for accepting this to take this session and sharing your knowledge. So I know you are very busy, but thank you so much for accepting this and sharing your knowledge to our team. So team, it is great that Dana is taking this session. Yeah, so she is having over 20 plus years of experience. So we can't meet her in personal in this situation, but we can get her knowledge via this session. So I would like to hand over my mic to Dana, and in between, couple of people will join. No issue. And Dana, if possible, when you are giving your intro, quickly go take your intro. And when you're taking your intro, if possible, can you please on your camera, if possible, and other guys also can on the camera, so then I can click a picture for today's session. So I'm handovering to Dana.
Thanks, Nikhil. Thanks everyone for joining this Sunday evening. Let me just turn on my web camera.
I think Dana,
I
you on your camera, but I think some
able to.
we are not able to see you.
I'm able to.
Yes, Dana. Yeah. Thanks, Anil. Thank Ramki. Thank Ramkrishna. And other guys, can you please on to take a picture? Shiv Kumar, Mona Lisa, Indu. Yeah, thanks, Indu. DG Kumar, Tushar. Wow, I'm seeing lots of faces today. Thanks, Jerry. Just wait 10 seconds. Bear with 10 seconds. Anybody is doing yeah, Tushar, please wait. Kumar, are you there? DG Kumar? Shiv, you are doing? Yes, okay. Thanks. Just 1 second, guys. Yes, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dana. You can go ahead. You can off your camera, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Nikhil, for opportunity, and thank everyone who's taking time out to join the session. Please let me know my is my voice is audible for
Actually, your voice is breaking, Dana.
anyone?
Your voice is breaking, actually. Bit breaking, yeah.
Oh my God. How now? Still have a problem?
Yeah, still, I'm listening same.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. Or else, if you can quickly end the call and you can join also, that is also I think work. It will work.
Nikhil, how about now?
Yes, it was excellent. Perfect.
Great. Okay. So, can we get the session started?
Yes, Chana. You can give introduction about yourself, and you can immediately jump into your session. Yeah.
Great. Let me just share my screen. Let me know once everyone able to see. Okay. So today we are going to talk about operational data. Before that, to go on you with who's speaking.
Chana, actually,
So,
again, same voice is breaking. Sorry for that. Sorry.
but your regular noise, Nickel, is it possible to? I'm sure who's in unmute, who's
Yeah,
and anybody else.
we will unmute, but
Yeah,
something we are getting
yeah.
break. Okay, fine. And I think then one more thing. I think you can change your layout to
Uh-huh.
spotlight or auto because we are getting sidebar. I set to tiled na, so you can make it a spotlight. Just check.
I did this.
Okay,
How is it now?
yes, super, Dana. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I request people to pass the text, or probably when I'm sharing the screen, probably I will be missing your chat, so we can keep all the questions at the end. Uh, However, if you still want to stop me and ask something, you can just unmute and speak. So today we are going to see Robotic Operations Center, which we call it as ROC. So let me just go with the slide mode. So my name is Dana. Nicholas already given the introduction. So I'm with Dixit Technology, which is based out of Chennai. Of course, it has global presence in different countries and different cities in India. I'm leading the robotics practice for a couple of accounts within the DXC technology. And I have application and infrastructure project management experiences. Plus, I also handle agile work. So I'm a PMP and agile coach. So my certifications have been listed in the slide. So I'm PMP certified, Scrum, ITL, and SAFe. So this is like a very short brief about me. Moving on, before we get into the session today, with this 1 hour, I think we have exactly 54 minutes. So we will try our best what I can share, my learnings about ROC. But it will not be a complete deep dive sessions, right? Within the 15 minutes, we have to go for discussions of Q&A and some clarification of doubts. So we won't be able to promise you a full detailed one, but however, you can, when you leave the session, you will get a fair idea how your role in this RPA journey will fit into this topic. That's something that you can count on. And on the ethics discussion ethics, if anyone want to talk, please unmute yourself. Otherwise, we stay on mute. So this is a quick agenda that I like to flash on what we are going to cover today. The RPA challenges, monitoring support, and what is ROC for we connected today, and what's the checklist, and how do we form the ROC formation, what is this, and what is the benefit of it, and is there anything that we can discuss at the end, if there is anything that you want to clarify, or is there anything that you want to tell me something which I can learn from you. All this we will park it at the end. So before all that going on, we will try to make it a little interactive, either by your voice or probably your text chat. Nikhil, I need your help. If someone texts something, probably you can help me because I'm in the
Sure.
slide view mode. I may not be able to see that. So I'm going to pose certain questions now. First, I know Nikhil is doing a wonderful job, Nikhil and his team. So I think we need to really appreciate that first before we getting into it. Secondly, I like to understand or very curious. your roles in your RPA journey. If some of you are in RPA team already, let me know your role, probably either through voice or chat, so that I can understand the audience, what kind of level of audience we have here in this one. So, a developer, okay. So probably few people, if you can just give me a idea about if you're an RPA automation project, what is your role? And if you're not, that's also fine, but you can express your interest or probably introduce yourself.
Hi,
Okay.
Dana. This is Ramakrishna
Yes.
here.
Yes, Ramakrishna.
So I'm not into an RPA previously. This is my first session as an RPA business analyst, which Niklesh provoked me, and I have gone through other sessions as well. But in my current organization, I'm working as a Scrum Master as well as certified Prince 2 foundation and practitioner as well. So I'm working as a Scrum Master. That's it.
Good. Very good. Fantastic. Okay. And I see a lot of active RPA developers here. Great. And I also worked as an RPA business. Fantastic. So okay, in the interest of time, probably will not wait for all the answers. So it's basically that we have a good mix of people, RPA and non-RPA, and people who are very interested to notice it, right? So that's good. So I hope most of you would have attended the earlier sessions. If not, that is absolutely fine. That doesn't need any prerequisite for a training session. Okay, let me just go on to the screen. But before that, to some extent, I think you have a fair idea. We talk about tools, right? We would have discussed about RPA tools in the earlier sessions, or you might be knowing WinAutomation, UiPath, Blue Prism, or various tools for developing a bot. Then, okay, once we develop a bot, we know also the technical issues as a developer. And as a BA, I know where is a process, where is a feasibility analysis to be done. Right. So each role has its jobs and roles and responsibilities. So we have an idea about it. So we identified the solution, we developed the bots, and it is in, say, development completed, and it is in Unity, you are presenting to the client, get the sign. What's next? Once we get the UAT sign off, what is next? Simat. So after UAT sign off, we'll do with the bot. Am I people? Deployment. Great. Thanks. Thanks for for making it interact. Thank you. Yeah. So because it's a virtual session, so I'm trying my best to keep you intact in the session. So please respond, make me a little even more interested to contribute more. Thanks so much. Okay, so we deploy. Okay, my job is done. RPA developer, and as a RPA BA, my job is done. Okay. So what is that then operational stuff? Any idea about it? Any fair idea? Okay, I'm sorry. Again, breaking. Is it fine now?
No, then actually it is a little bit breaking when you are into a deep conversation with any of the structures. So that is the reason yes, texting you.
Perfect. That's okay. So can we just think of what is this operational center? Any fair idea about it? When you see this moment, this topic today of the session, any idea what this is all about? Control center, okay. 24/7 maintenance, perfect. Anything else? Maintenance, okay, fine. Controlling bot in one place, great.
Support and maintenance for already existing bots and already existing bots, supporting and maintenance of existing bots and continuous improvement of the current bots.
Good, Ramke, good catch, good. Change management, fantastic. Yeah, okay, good. Okay. I hope some of you have
The regression and integration kind of center where any kind of change or anything happened, and what the impact of the changes and all in the robots, like that.
Perfect. So I think this audience is really, I think, Nicole, I think it's already very, very knowledgeable. It's something that I don't have to spoon feed. So it's really going to help me even more to validate my slides. It's going to be challenging. Nice. Okay. So let's get into the main topic. So ROC. We know what is ROC to some extent. Beautiful. So let's ask ourselves, why do I need ROC now? I have very fantastic developers. I know experts. I have good BAs who know in and out of my process, domains, technical tools, and I have very enthusiastic bot developers. So I know how I coded my bot. So do you still see any challenges beyond all this? So any RPA challenges that you think of, you people think of, just with RPA? No, I mean, what are the challenges in RPA? We know we have challenges, that's why we are going for RPA, to avoid human errors, to avoid human efforts. Now, my question is slightly different. Is there a challenge in robotics? Changes in the existing automated process? Absolutely. Yeah. Time. Anil, what is that exactly? What is it about time that you're talking about here? Handling errors. Okay. Any break in process will result in a boss. Okay, Santosh, probably you might have to brief little bit about what is the challenges. Okay, I'm done with my bot. Application dependent. Okay, stress and load changes. Fantastic. There are different dimensions that you people are contributing. Really see, very glad to see this. Change in resolution between UAT and production missions. Okay, that is a very good point, George. Whenever there is a change in application or UI, fantastic. Update of the underlying applications, process will break, manage robot changes, server dependent issues, fantastic. I think it is overwhelming answers. Thank you so much. So we all in LinkedIn or whatever, or social media or anywhere, there is a lot of buzz about RPA, right? But we only know RPA also have challenges, right? So let's get into the slide directly. So what is that? I'm going to tell you something different or whatever that I echoed you. Look at the slides quickly. How do you protect your automation investment? I put a number against what you say. So now, whoever is in this audience, whoever is a developer, who is going to be a developer, who is a enthusiastic RPA resource, who's participated or who's already a BA here, please listen. This topic, it's not limit only for a project manager who's handling a robotics automation program. It's not only stop for a person who's supposed to be part of the operational team. No, it's even more apply for a BA too, because the BA take the entire accountability of a technical delivery of a robotics automation program. Even when there is a manager, vice president, directors, anybody, the BA will be first question first. So in today's competitive world, people having multiple hats, multiple hats, multiple knowledge, multiple roles, multiple knowledge they carry, they are differentiated today in the competitive world. That's how RPA BA is also expected at least to know the bare minimum knowledge of what is this operational center for robotics that is required, and what are the challenges and how this can be solved by ROC. And that is why you can see there are some 5 points, major points that I've listed. So you may ask, as a BA, why should I think about my investment? That is a sponsor responsibility. Yes, you are right. However, you are the BA, you are only redefined and defined the PDD, STD, reviewed everything and helped your team in getting the bots in place in production. But how quality it is, how reliable it is, and how scalable it is again your job. as far as you meet 100% expectation, the sponsor will not meet how much they have invested and how they get it back. That's the first point. Quickly, second point, you have done the development, you completed, you pushed it to production, your job is done. However, something goes wrong. So how do we find quickly? Because everything is fast in this world, right? Everything to be quick. That's why they went for automation. And how do you make sure all digital workers? So here we're just giving a different name to our bots, digital workers, a fancy word again. So it's our responsibility. We have deployed a bot and how fully we are utilizing it, whether it is working for 20%, 100%, 50%. It's like how our managers monitor us. Are we really doing our work 100% or we are also taking breaks? That's the third point. And the fourth point is how each bot, how one digital worker differentiates the other one when diagnosing the issues, right? Those things. So there are challenges today. And these questions, maybe we are not asking in today's world in each to each person in the RPA team. But these are the challenges making one to move into the robotics operational center. That is a need. Then the next question will come. So then what is that you keep saying some words called ROC, all that? Then what is this monitoring? What is this monitoring, RPA monitoring? That's what the next question comes, right? So is it something that I'm exaggerating something that you think, or do you see any difference between monitoring or ROC? Do you see a difference between ROC, and RPA monitoring? The words by definition? Okay. So I will not burden you much. I will take you to the slide. Then you can understand what I exactly mean by RPA monitoring. So, of course, deck will be shared with you by Nikhil. You can always go through. I don't want to vomit each and every line in the interest of time. But look at the main points. The RPA monitoring is a process or tools through which we human workers, we track the activities which is automated by RPA tools. So it's a process and tools which we talk about as RPA monitoring. And what does this helps? The digital worker assets, whatever we created as automated bots, how it works, whether it is working properly or not, whether it is giving the result on time, whether any improvisation is required, whether it is ensure it is executed, queued properly and picking it properly by the scheduler, many things. And finally, as a sponsor and a director who's investing a lot of money, as a client investing a lot of money on the licensing, I think some of you will be knowing most of the licensing are costly in all dollars every year. So the director, end of the day, he won't be bothered about the bot is working perfectly. He will also bothered about whether he's getting whatever he's invested on. So it's a return of investment. That's what he will aim for, right? Okay. So we are now clear on RPA monitoring. Beautiful. So now, before just I get into the next slide, one last question before I get into that. ROC, any idea how that differentiates from RPA monitoring? Because that's why we assembled it today. So I want you to get an idea or just want to see what is that you thought about ROC before we getting into it. Any answers? Okay. I hope I'm with you people. I hope you don't lose the connection. Anyone can say yes or make sure bots are up and running 24/7. Yeah, that is the process you're talking about. So what is this ROC, or why they are giving this name, Robotics Operational Center? It looks like a little catchy when I present to a customer. No idea. I like this answer. Scheduling. Okay. Is it looking after scheduling of jobs, whether the jobs are running on correct time or not? Okay. Orchestration control. It's a broad tool. Beautiful. So, what you some of you answered, I'm packaging all together and I form a team. That team for additional legacy systems, you call it as production support team. In digital transformation journeys, you call it as robotics on center. As simple as that. There is not too much give more hype on this. So in a very production traditional legacy projects, everyone coming from an education, know your production support, how incident change problem management will be handled, right? Change request comes, how it is handled, how tickets will be handled, right? So a similar for digital transformation, a very crucial part, this operating center acts. So,
Your voice is
support
breaking up.
RP implementation throughout the life cycle. Oh, I'm sorry. One second. Is it how about now?
Yeah, now you're on.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I think I just opened my door. I think. Thank you. Sorry for the inconvenience. So I think I just quickly revisit the RPA monitoring is what the process and tools that I have described in the deck, and the operational center is nothing but the production support teams, which you have seen in the legacy systems in the traditional projects. The same thing, that's what you have seen in robotics, in the digital transformation journeys. So that is what we call it as operational operations center. And whoever has answered it, right? Like it's all the packaging, whatever you said, scheduling and monitoring the bots 24/7, ensuring on the improvisation, handling the incident problem, change management, problem management, everything. I think if some of you have seen the production support, how it works in application projects, or let it be any projects in that matter, infra also, right? So that is nothing but we call it as operational center here. So since it is digital, we say robotics operational center. So there is nothing like rocket science. It's something that's a new old stuff, but then it is all this put it in a different way. So I just quickly skip probably I'll touch on some few points. So very position. You people, most of you are developers, right? So who mostly will be as part of the automation factory. So what does mean automation factories is when a very bigger organizations who do a lot of generation and development for automation. So what happens? We will accumulate the savings cost, and we also will have a higher visibility to know what are the kind of bots we develop in an organization. Everybody will be visible, and they can easily leverage it if it is applicable wherever possible. So that is what it is more of an automation factory. The development happens and till it productions. Moment is ready for production, that's how this ROC to pick. So if you first line, maintenance happens in ROC, wherein everything happens in automation factories. That's where you are in today. Look at the fourth point, because I don't want to read all the lines just of time. So you will then it is manageable. 3 developers or 2 developers, and each one will have to see the schedule that is running. But if it that's will take job attended, you need to have a person to run the job, run what as the request. Doc.
Hi, Dhana. Sorry for the interruption. Your voice is breaking a lot.
Yeah.
Your voice is breaking a lot.
I'm sorry, guys. Are you not able to see my screen also?
Yeah, we are not able to see this. No, I think we are able to see your screen, but I think you have stopped the presentation.
No, I think screen is also not so.
Let me just. Okay, I am sharing it again. I am really apologize for the network. I think the network issue.
Yeah. It's okay.
How about the voice? Is the voices audible?
Now is here to hear.
Okay. Please keep pinging me if you see a problem in my voice.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think you can go on mute. Perfect. Thanks so much for. I think you guys are really helping me in indicating. So when you scale up the bots to 50, 100, I think the current team that I am handling, almost I am touching upon 450 plus bots. When I say 450 plus bots, I know you know the differentiation. Bots, it's a license. One license is one bot, we say. But we also talk about the software bots, like each process or task that we automate. So close to 450 plus only process and tasks that I have automated. And apart from that, some 100 plus on business processes I have automated in the insurance sector alone. So then high time I need a operational command center team to be deployed to monitor all these bots. Of course, I have an orchestrator in UiPath. I have a command center in in Blue Prism within the tool. All is fine, but it is all digital workers, right? They take care of within that tool. But however, still we need a human or a personal to be appointed to monitor these bots and monitor and track the performances and see how long it is running, whether it is running as expected, not just one day, whether throughout the week, throughout the months, throughout the year. So that is a continuous monitoring is very, very important. Unlike like application projects or infra projects, though we have a production support team, at one point, when it becomes stable, when the system is stable, people will think, yeah, all good. Only once in a while, I'll get an incident in my application. But in bot, it's not the same story, because bot is replacing someone's activity, one person activity. So even if a system is stable, if it is performed by a human resource, he or she have the intelligence to indicate, hey, there is a problem in the application interface that is coming up today. So definitely this task I cannot perform today. There is an intelligence coming to picture. However, until you induce AI to our bots, there is a manual intervention mandatorily involved for monitoring our bots. So that's what I keep whenever I go to workshops and whenever I want to initiate RPA journeys in new places where no automation is there. The first thing people will ask, you are coming here to take away my job, right? That is what the automation team has always been questioned. The answer I will say, it is only I replace your mundane repetitive task, but there is a person needed to monitor these bots. So it is the messages. We increase the productivity of the person by making him to put it into a different task, which is very critical, which is very business critical, which is client facing. Instead, not utilizing his potential and making him to do a mundane repetitive task, which we will hand over to bots. I think this is the message even I like to share with you, all of your friends here. Automation is not replacing man jobs. It is not at all. It is still there is need to monitor your bots. I have been struggling a lot with whatever the bots. It took some weeks or months for me to stabilize some 200 bots for 2 months almost. I have 4 FTE people to monitor it because on particular time, the client has to get the mail from the bot and you have committed it is automated. If it is the report is not going, it is a problem for the vendor. So definitely you need a person. Okay, so one is for the monitoring of the bot. Another what is this operational center does, right? It also takes care of continuous improvisation. When you developed a bot, it would have replaced your human efforts from 30 minutes to say 20 minutes, example. However, whether we have used the best practices, whether we have used RE framework, what kind of exception handling we have used, whether it is calling in certain things and everything in loop, whether we have used a proper file system, all things, probably the development team may not have the bandwidth when they had the pressure of developing the bots as part of the center of excellence. Those things will come into this ROC team. So there are many things that we do in ROC team, not just monitoring, continuous improvement. Where is there any gaps that developer or BA has missed out in the early stage or the requirement has missed out? There is a fit gap analysis. All things will be monitored. Okay, so example, say it's me and my team has developed the bots, and we are handing over to a team of 5 people who is in part of the session. Does anything about it? So, and when I hand over to the data to you, there are a lot of missed requirements. I didn't do it properly at all. So then as a team that you are taking a transition from me, you are the critical workforce. The entire account and organization will be relying on you. So because the operational ROC is the heart of the digital transformation journey. Take it from me. Whatever bots you are writing, whatever cognitive automation, artificial intelligence, anything you bring, without ROC, nothing can be achieved. There's a personal experience with all the RPA journey. So how critical it plays a role, and BA have a major role here because he or she as a BA is a person have the entire brain of knowledge, how this whole bots have been deployed, how this been designed, what has been agreed with the client, what are the challenges, what are the constraints, what are the risk factor of these bots. All this only the BA will know. And only that BA can guide the ROC team who's going to be new. Sometimes they will be new. Sometimes the ROC team will be the same as the development team. 1 or 2 people will be pulled from that team, partially will be allocated to monitor the bots. In either way, the BA is playing a very critical role. Okay, so now we know a bridging person who's going to help. So for our effective ROC, what are the 4 key elements? What are the major things that can help us? Okay, so there are some checklists. If this checklist, one automation team can keep it properly, then your job is easy. It's going to be a cakewalk. ROC is going to be absolutely cakewalk. So start from a documentation. I like to just put it in a very high level here while I explain. Bot standards, that's where the BA has to take care of a lot. The more that you standardized your process, your bots, development, exception handling, everything, it's a lesser the pain in ROC teams, lesser the challenges in operations. And you should have, as an organization, as a team, you should have a very proper, very crystal clear standard operation procedures. Someone was talking about change management. if a change request comes in, as a operational team or ROC team, what should I do immediately? So question to you people. I hope my voice is clear. Can someone help me? You are in the operational team now. A change is coming. I'm the person who's giving the change. What is the first immediate activity you will do? There is a change has come in the existing bot. I should perform an impact analysis. Fantastic. I don't know how many of you here in the management background here, if you are going for any PMP certification or anyway tomorrow anywhere, this is one of the questions anywhere. Whether you are going for data science or robotics or agile coach or DevOps, whatever, project manager is a beast, project managers running all this kind of digital programs. So the change management, problem management, incident, everything is same as whatever you are doing in other areas. So the question will be, you will be expecting there as a PMP, I'm just telling you, the very first thing what you do is when it comes to a change, you do an impact analysis. So after you do impact analysis, what is the next? So you're done. There is a change is coming up. You have done the impact analysis for the existing bot. You understand how critical it is, how critical the change is, how big is the change. Yeah. Talk to the SME and document in PDD. Very good. Come up with a discussion. So George, so with whom? Okay, you understand. So you are part of the ROC team. Who's the stakeholders that you need to discuss here? Okay, I'm not screen sharing. I'm just sharing my the call only. I made to share my screen again. Efforts for development, criticality, cost measuring. Okay, efforts, cost involved, perfect. Okay, so somebody has said process SME. So the process SME, so he still has to join the hands with the operational center team. He or she cannot say, hey, my job is done, I'm going, bye. They cannot say. Efforts and cost involved, document it all in the PTT to get approval from business end. Fantastic. So you do the impact analysis, do an assessment how critical it is, how low, medium, and severe it is, talk to the process SME, okay, and understand is there any other things that I have to consider, and then you do the estimation and the cost. Of course, main critical answer somebody has given, scheduling. Why scheduling is coming into picture? Why should I consider scheduling on a change management? A change request is coming up. Why should I think about this factor of scheduling? Can somebody answer it? Why scheduling is a factor that as an operational team that should do? Because scheduling will...
Scheduling will be coming because it also involves the time estimation and as well as the impact on how it's going to be.
Okay, so how long will the existing bot will be impacted? Will it affect overall roadmap? Fantastic. Yes. So guys, the reason why you are all here, I think you would have thought that BA developer is one more of a development project. But actually so much of thought process has been put into equivalently by the operational teams also. It's not just like a cakewalk. Like as I said, of course, the checklist to be there, then handling the operations is cakewalk. However, it's not everywhere it is that easy. When a change request comes in, particularly in bot, in other application infrastructure projects, when any change request comes in, we just add the additional change, get the cost from cost approval from client, align the resource, complete the project, declare yes, it is done. But in RP, it is different. You have one license. In UiPath, one license is almost 8K per year. And I have done all my bot scheduling. Some 15 tasks is running on a day, 24 hours a day. And now I'm inducing a change. That change will take additional effort to my bot. Then it means today it is running for 10 minutes. After the change, it may run 25 minutes also. Then the back-to-back, if I scheduled it, the other bots will fail. Then it is not just technically you are accepting the change request, but also the BA coming in and telling the management, guys, there's a change request has come, seems to be very business critical, seems to be so complex, and is also going to take a lot of bot time. It means the current schedule, current bot cannot fit this. You need to go for an additional bot. And for that, the customer has to pay so and so cost. There are many things are there. So these things, overnight, you cannot learn. Overnight, you cannot just document and talk to the client over phone. That's how this checklist is coming into picture. As a standard operational procedure, every organization, every automation team should have that. Okay? And then only you will know there is a document. If there is a change comes, how should I manage it? If there is a problem happens, problem record rises by the client, how should I handle it? When an incident comes, what are the SLAs, whether it is SEV 1, SEV 2 or SEV 3, all that, right? Are you able to hear? My voice is odd. Good. Yeah. Okay. So we just see the checklist now. So I'll quickly go on. Next, see high level. We're just getting into the kind of slides. So how do I form this? So I know checklist. What are this ROC, and how I form this, right? So there's a simple diagrammatic representation. First, I will baseline. I know what is my bots are, what has been moved to production, what is that I have moved it. Let me baseline. This is my requirement, this is my PDD, this is my SDD, for this I agreed and I'm deploying these bots. Let me baseline first. Then you need to staff. Who are the people who are going to be part of the operation center? It can be your same developers, or it can be dedicated people who are the RPA control command centers people. That is the engagement. Then third, create a bot support model. What I mean by support model is you need to have this just that I have this early should find documentation. I have to troubleshoot, manage, and right.
Sorry, Dana. We are sorry for the interruption, Dana. Again, voice is again breaking. We can't hear you from last 5 minutes.
It's okay. Sorry, I didn't speak. Is it okay now? Can someone confirm?
Yeah, it's better.
Better, okay. Okay, so I quickly wrap it up. I know I'm very sorry for having a very bad network today. Didn't expect this. So you define the bot support model. It might be 24/7 or an onshore and offshore. Somebody will be an onshore to monitor the rest of the bots in their time zone in Europe or US timing, or an offshore means which are the teams and what timing. All this you will define in bot support model. Okay, and then you will review and validate the bot baseline. As a RPA development team, they will say this is the baseline, but a ROC team doesn't have to believe blindly. They have to validate what is that SDD and PDD, validate it against with the process SME, BA, right? And I validate whether the clients have been approved everything on the UAT before it has moved to production. What are the gaps? Understand the bot schedules, everything you need to review, ROC team, before you take the transition. And then once you validate, once you get the transition from the process SME and the BA is in place, and see, the job of the BA here is in helping the center of excellence, the entire team, to have this ROC set up along with the project management and basically the leadership group, because he or she will be is traveling from the day one of the RPA development. So he or she will be the best person to know how this has to be set up, the intricacies, where the bot will fail, which bot are very critical, which has to be put it into severity one, and SLAs are should be given. All this only that BA have a good insight, not the ROC team on the day one. Then once you get the transition, you do the hypercare support by the development team, the ROC team take the full charge. And the final end, they do a continuous monitoring and supporting. It's not just 1 day or 2 days. They keep talking, they keep seeing now that be a governance model. You look at the left side in the black box, have given 3 areas. Those 3 areas is a key for ROC setup. That's key. That is a base or a spinal cord, I would say. That has to be so clear for anybody who's entering into ROC. It's kind of, it should be the every document should be a Bible for them, because bot is replacing human activity today. So how you monitor effectively, efficiently is matters a lot. Otherwise, the whole purpose of why we automated a human effort is absolutely will be defeated. The client will say simply, I should have stayed with the guy who did this very fantastically. He alerted me on time when there is a problem in the system, not your bot. So, as how you give importance to your RPA developer, your RPA PM role, RPA BA role, or a development team as such, it's equivalently important ROC team as well. Any questions so far? I think we are in the last leg of the last slide. Before that, any questions before I end up? Okay, I just move on. So here we are. So we will see what are the benefits. Can someone confirm me? Is my voice audible? Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you. Okay. So we are in the last leg, 6 benefits, top 6 benefits. There can be many benefits, and it differs from the sponsors, directors, or the teams and organizations or industries where this robotics have been installed. The benefits will vary, but as my experience that I just jotted down, we will have an ability to know this what's how it works in real time through this operational center team. And there is a governance will, if we place, it will help you. There is a framework that we can put in on this, how that works. Then I have explained the incident problem management. Okay. And the main key things, the bot metrics, there are 3 bot metrics is return of investment, that is ROI, velocity, and quality. Any automation program you see, leadership team will be asking these 3. How good quality your bot is running. If you say 5 days it is running fine and 60 days it fails, it is not a good one. Consistently how good it is. That's why the continuous improvement and refinement of the standard, what standards, coding standards to be in place by the BA, right? That is what we keep saying. We should not aim for. Yesterday I was reading an article. We should not build something to last forever. We should build something to adapt. That's a very nice quote. It should be able to adapt the future changes, future requirements. It should be scalable. It should be able to add anything and handle anything. Such a bot we should build, such a solution we build. That's the hands of BA and the development team. So these are the 3 key metrics. One will attain, one will get through the ROC team. They will monitor and keep reporting this regularly, the status reporting to the leadership team. And this is what the leadership team will end of the day expect. And the final is the return of investment, right? That is a major to know. And again, the investments, recurring, the investments are nothing but the recurring license cost. Every license cost of a bot will be recurred every year based upon the tools that we use, and the one-time development cost. That is, you won't be charging the client every time. Because there will be a design, assessment, testing, development, coding, everything end-to-end, the SD, entire life cycle of the bot. You will be charging in one-time development cost. Added to it, you will also charge in the license cost. So that's a major investment the client will put. And what is the savings he will get it in return is the manual efforts. Manual efforts, which is going to be replaced, right, by the bots. That is a major savings for him. With these two components, he will get the ROI calculation. Now, so I think we are reached the fact again. So I would do a quick recap. I know exactly some of few 2 more minutes I took. So we have seen, what is the first thing that we have seen? Probably we can do a quick recap together. What is the first, as part of the agenda? What is the first item that we have seen?
Challenges.
Fantastic. RPA challenges.
Yeah,
Okay.
RPA challenges.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's just go to let's create a chain, right? Let's do a mind mapping. So we understood the challenges. For what? Why we understood the challenges? What is the next thing that we have seen?
Bot monitoring.
Okay. Good. Monitoring. Next.
How the ROC center is working.
Sorry? Can you come again?
Like, yeah, ROC center, about ROC centers.
Exactly. Yeah, someone said the difference between monitoring and ROC we have seen. Fantastic. And ROC team setup and working. Exactly. Yeah. Any other points highlighted we come across? And what is the BA role here? I know most of you are interested in the BA workshop, so that is the main question. How does BA is involved here? BA analyzes the CR. Not really, but then because we cannot confirm or firm up here, BA should be the part of operations center, but here he or she will be definitely supporting and helps the team in setting up that, and also yes, setting up the team, and also will be definitely involved. Yes, I'm not saying your answer is completely different, but yes, in a way yes, but sometimes BA will not be definitely into all the operations center, but they will be key resources who will be helping the operational teams and supporting any major work that is coming about, any bottlenecks or when the operation team has got struck. But it is acting as a bridge. Yeah, rightly said. Yes, and because we don't want a ROC team to depend on our Center of Excellence development team again, the BA team again. We should equip the ROC team, how the bot we are getting, how we are refining a bot and make it stable. Likewise, the robotics operations center team also to be equipped over the years down the line. They should not be dependent on development team at one point. They should be able to take a decision all along. They should be able to decide whether this change request can be done or not, even without tomorrow with a process session. Yes. So we have seen how the ROC team has to be set up. And finally, we have seen the benefits. Any benefits that you would like to say? Rundown of the better resource utilization. Okay. Anything else? Benefits? Cost cuttings. Okay. Again, I encourage people. Very good. ROI, regular bot metrics. Okay, very good. So I encourage people here to have this mindset. layoffs, removing jobs, not directly proportional to cost cuttings, not directly proportional to automation journey. Of course, our leadership team will maybe project like that, but I'm one of the leaders in my company, I won't definitely agree that it is probably a part it is played by RPA, but not fully. Definitely not. So cost cuttings have different other factors. So I think we are all RPA or digital teams who are part of this discussion. I think we all should have the mindset that we are making the work digitalized in a modernization strategies way as the client expected. So just not RPA, DevOps, or you take AI, cognitive automations, and now Microsoft is bringing up Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, many things which is getting integrated with your RPA. So everything is getting digitalized today. The client is not interested to see Excels anytime anymore. He wants everything in Power Apps and Power BI. So all these things doesn't need it is cost cuttings. The expectations of the clients are being changed over and over in the modern era. So that is what this RPA is probably one of the tools is playing the role. But let's have the mindset is not removing jobs or anybody's jobs. And it is not really the key element for cost cuttings. Good. Work on increasing the ROI, change to be done in PDD, technical SME. Yeah, perfect. So Nicola, I think I'm done. Or probably people can shoot the questions. If I have the knowledge, I can answer. I'll try my best.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much for your extending session. And it was really wonderful with your complete experience you have shared. And well, mainly it was so engaging. In last 7 sessions, we didn't have this much of engaging with each and every point you have taken your inputs from the audience. So it was really wonderful. In chat, I didn't touch my screen, but in my chat, I'm seeing 100+ messages. That was how the engaging the session was happening. Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask. She is available for the question for next 5 minutes, and immediately we'll jump into the quiz and we'll end up the session because she is having some personal meetings. Yeah.
What will the checklist contain? Okay, the checklist, there are 4 different types of checklist as broader category that I have presented. But again, that can be customized or tailored to the organization needs. So the checklist that I'm talking about, one on the documentation. Key element is on documentation. So checklist is what? As a layman, always we have been tailored or been taught or educated. Checklist is like a list of points. We just used to put some tick. We just tick the items when one bot is getting developed and we are putting into production. That is not the checklist I'm talking about. Checklist is the focus areas one should focus on to keep it ready. So checklist can be a documentation, proper documentation like PDD, SGD, approved, signed off, approved documentations on the signed mails or some documents from the client before you call a bot is posed in a production. And the standard procedure documents, that is another checklist. So for ROC team to have a checklist, to have a good maintenance team, there are 4 checklists that I have brought in as my experience that I am shared here in the deck. Probably the deck will be shared. You can understand that well better because it's all self-explanatory. That's why I didn't touch upon each and every line. You can probably read it.
Is there any standard guidelines provided by UiPath or Automation Anywhere or BP on the ROC formation? Okay.
ROC formation, yes. Instead of going to UiPath AA, you go to Gartner report. Gartner, I know he works on many articles, many white papers. Even I referred Gartner one point. But that is whoever is pretty new to ROC, yes, you can refer these things. And UiPath is also, of course, they are bringing hyper automation and orchestrator they have. So they also talk about Automation Anywhere. There is a tutorials in your go to the Academy of Automation Anywhere. There are some courses how you work on the operational setup. It is there. There is nothing each and Blue Prism. You have a control room where you can monitor the jobs of the Blue Prism jobs. So each tool vendor is also providing, but I would suggest you go for a real-time experience, expert judgment. Whoever is running it already, talk with them, start forming the ROCT, right? It is a similarly you are one another production supporting in applications. Even if you take the essence of how a production support for application project is running, that's more than enough for this ROCT. There is nothing like a different here to exaggerate. It is simple.
Okay, do you think RPA business analyst required the knowledge of how to operate the orchestrator?
If you ask me, there's nothing like thumb rule. BA have a entry and exit boundaries in the roles in a role. It is good to know. It is good to know because BA is not expected to run a scheduling or go and log into the RPA or orchestrator to schedule a job. But if a developer is stuck somewhere and at least BA will able to tell what are the options to know. See, I'm a program manager. I don't really, as part of my appraisal, I don't really, as part of my roles, I don't need to know how the orchestrator works. I know what is orchestrator. But if you ask me how to go and edit the license, how to go and edit the jobs, I know. It's not that I want to talk about myself. What is my role here? As a program lead, whether I'm going to work with my BAs, okay, then my BA will take care of my job, technical job. Okay. But one day BA is on leave. I want to talk to my developers. Then I need to understand what the developer is talking, the technical language I need to understand. Then I should have the knowledge of orchestrator. So I won't define any roles. BA should know, BA should not know. It is good to know. That's why your profile get differentiated from the market.
Thanks for your wonderful answer. Any other questions, guys? I think if we don't have question immediately, we'll jump into the session because it's already 15 minutes delay. We'll jump into the quiz topic. Today, I hope most of the people will give the answers in quiz because she covered each and every point twice, thrice, 4 times also. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is absolutely because of the audience here. It's not the matter how much people we have attended today, but everybody contributed. I think it is like an in-person interaction.
Yeah. Yes. I think Dana, you can stop sharing and you can see here also, right? Okay, let me put my question into the chat window and guys will answer the question and you can check the answer. Okay. Yeah. I'm putting the question, guys. So for the quiz, so please check into the things. Yes, this is the question. So list out the 3 bot metrics. What are the 3 bot metrics? Then I explain. Yes, still guys, you have 20 seconds more. Okay, done. I got the answers. So I got the answer from Ramakrishna. So Ramakrishna is saying Robi. I think it's a typo mistake.
It's a typo mistake.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
Niklesh.
ROI velocity and
Quality.
this is the answer. But Indu, you also answered perfect. Like, but we expected 3. but Ramakrishna answered first the three. Later, I think you are in typing. Still, Ramakrishna is the I can take it. And Debajyoti also said, good. Thank you, Debajyoti. And RP Evangelist also said the answer. So perfect
it will
answer.
be ROC, right?
Yeah. I think he had some typo mistake. So it is ROC only, because Robi we didn't discuss anything. So
Yeah.
so
So
I
I
can.
both should answer earlier and correctly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a typo mistake again. I said
Yeah.
you
But
have.
no problem. I will take as Ramakrishna only, because he's.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No problem, guys. No problem. We have one more question. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, thanks. No problem. Not a problem.
Yeah. So one more question. Be ready. It is also easy only. I think again you guys can immediately give the answer. Please ready with your chat. Yeah, the question is, I entered the question. What are the two components consists of a bot investments? I have 10 seconds more. Okay. Any other answers, guys? Okay. So the answer is, which is already in chart. So the answer is license cost and the development cost. So which is answered by Shiv. So the Shiv is the first one who answered perfect. So answer is license cost and the development cost. Also, for the congratulate for Ramakrishna and Shiv. So Ramakrishna and Shiv, can you please enter the details, your name, which I ask you daily, your name, your phone number, and LinkedIn ID. Congratulations on your. And your LinkedIn ID also, Shiva, please. And Shiva, your email ID. I don't have your. I'm not having your email in my Excel sheet. LinkedIn ID is fine. And yeah, in between, before they are typing. So Sorry guys, sorry. Give me 1 second, please. Ramkrishna, your email ID, please. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys. Your email ID, Ramkrishna. And
I have written the date itself below to my name, ramkrishnapalaputra@gmail.com.
oh,
And you
sorry.
can see,
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
it's
sorry.
okay.
And first of all, I would like to thank Tana for taking the session in this season of workshop. So it was really wonderful. Even this topic we didn't plan or schedule initially. Yesterday only we had a word, and immediately she said like, okay, I would be taking this topic, and she only suggested this topic which will be interested for our important and interested for our team. So thank you so much for that. I would like to congratulate all the winners, and so thank you so much, Dana. So we will do the sessions in future if you are available, and if I can arrange the things with that. Thank you so much.
And thanks, Nikhil, for giving a wonderful opportunity. I think I'm very glad about the audience. I think they were very cooperative and very supportive. And I think that's the main key. That's why that they made them to interact. I know most of you might be knowing whatever the concepts that I have shared here with my experience, but then you very patiently answered everything, though it was all one words and few things. I think that's a really great thing that I have even learned from you people, how patiently and you need to. And sorry for the inconveniences on the net issues, but you bared it and you consistently stayed throughout the session. That's really amazing. Thanks, everyone. And reach out to me. I'm available in LinkedIn for any queries. And all the very best for each and everyone on your career.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for your time. All the very best, guys. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you, Dana. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Thanks all. Thanks all. Bye bye.
Thank you.